Welcome to the Kat Mak Show, where women turn their stories into visibility, authority, and success. Hey there, I'm Kat Mak, and each week we share real conversations that will inspire you to rise, be seen, and create impact. Why? Because you are saying yes to yourself, and your story matters. Welcome to another episode of the Kat Mak Show. But I'm here to tell you this. Have you ever been told that you are less than, too much, your voice is too loud, stop talking, you're too in your face? You're not too in your face. You're too much. You're too little. And throughout the course of your career, your life, your relationships, you start to believe what people are telling you. And then you become less than without even realizing. If this is you, then this episode's going to challenge you. We're about to change the narrative of what my podcast is all about, which is sharing your voice, your visibility, because your voice matters. There is somebody out there that is feeling that way today that said to themselves, you know what? I'm going to say yes to myself today, and I'm going to build the legacy of my dream. So Bear, thank you so much for being with me on the couch today from all the wonderful Spain. I am so honored. I believe that this is a little bit of your story or a lot of your story, and you have flipped the switch and you have said, after being in retail sales or sales per se for the last 15 years, fired twice because you are too loud, too much, too this, too little, too what, too whatever, and you started to lose yourself. So I ask you this. I love the way that you flip the narrative, because I know you're all about sharing your voice, which I'd like you to talk about in the next second. However, you teach women how to share their voice in a way that builds their brands and makes sales. Like, I will not discount the fact that you help women make what they want to have the freedom that they desire. But you're called the Expression Alchemist. Like, I love that. I'm going to ask you in a sec, how did you even think about that? Because it's bloody brilliant. And you're the seductive sales strategist. Bear, over to you. Thank you so much for joining me. The question that I have for you is this. After you went through all the stuff and you started to lose yourself in the mixture of what people were telling you that you were, which you weren't, when did the shift come and what did you do?
Okay, we are going deep from the beginning. Well, first,
Yeah, so talk to me. What happened? Who
first,
fired you? Why would they fire you? Like, seriously, are they mad? Maybe.
like you said, I've been in sales for a long time. And the last time they fired me, it was 3 years ago. I was kind of like in a management position. I was product specialist. And there were the results of the team were good, but there were like logical reasons for me being fired because we didn't fully align with the position. The company didn't have a clear direction. So there were things not working, even though the results were good. But when they fired me, they also comment a lot on my personality, like my opinions, how sometimes I was talking back at people or challenging the company, how things were done and things like that. And at first, I didn't make a big deal of it. But after a couple of months, I started getting like upset about it and like mad about it, like replaying conversations and situations. And I thought like, I don't think this was fair. I got this sense of like, this is not fair. And I just started like being afraid of getting another job and going through the same thing. Because up until that moment, I built a career where I was very successful. I was always at the top 3. My clients said amazing things about me. My competitors said amazing things about me. And everything felt like very easy for me. So back at that time, I kind of started playing with the idea of having a business, but I was honestly like really lost about it. So eventually I had to go back to work. And I went back to just being, okay, I'm going to be a salesperson because maybe management is not for me and I'm good at that and it's fine.
Okay, so that's interesting that you just said that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause you right there because you're not alone with what you've just said. You're not alone because I've done the same. And I know that there's a lot of women out there that have done the same as well because their gut starts to feel, they
Yeah.
don't follow their gut and they start to feel less. And you're like, you know what? Maybe you start to doubt yourself and you start to shrink. So if there are women out there that are starting to shrink, what would be one tip that you would give to the woman today that would go, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore because I know who I am, because I know that's what you did.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key. You need to know who you are and you need to see like what people are telling you are not true. The problem is that in that moment, I stopped. I mean, I knew who I was, but I stopped feeling like I was that person. I got such an imposter syndrome that I thought maybe I was never good. I was just lucky and I just had amazing clients and that's why it was so easy. And now that it's hard, I'm not able to make it through. So I felt very disconnected with myself. And because I was building the business and I was working, I was not taking care of myself. And I think that made a huge impact in me. So the first advice I would tell you, because it's what has helped me now, is like going back to yourself, but going back to taking care of yourself, like treating yourself with love, like eating healthy, doing exercise. Like it's just like the common advice, but it makes such a difference in the way that you see yourself and the relationship that you have with yourself. And doing things that are going to stop the noise in your head, but also the noise outside, like put your blinders on. Yeah.
The noise. Do you think that the noise, at what cost? What is the cost for a woman that doesn't follow those steps?
Losing herself. And it not only happens like it might not happen only at your job. Like in my case, it happened in my personal life, in the way that I set limits with my partner, how I saw myself. I stopped feeling attractive or sexy. I even stopped like setting boundaries with my family, which I have a very good relationship, but I don't know. I was just like a weaker version of myself, like just always pleasing everybody. And I wasn't aware of that. Now, looking back, like I see it very clearly how I was not expressing my needs, expressing my thoughts, and I was just keeping quiet just to not make noise or just to not get into an argument. And it was honestly killing me because I was having so much anxiety.
I was going to say, was it like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was having anxiety and I was close to being like I thought many times I need to go to the doctor and I need to tell him that I'm not good, that I cannot work anymore. But I never did it because I was okay, we need to keep going. We need to keep going. But I was like really mildly depressed because of all of that.
so how did you become aware? Because sometimes as women, we just keep on going and we hit ourselves against the wall and we're like, we're okay, we're not okay until like, we're not okay.
Yeah, well, in my case, I was not feeling good. I was always tired. I had like painful pelvic pains that I thought okay, it might be my period, but these are like stronger, like very almost every day. And I was having lots of headaches. And I thought something needs to change here. And I was at the point of like thinking either I quit the job or I quit my business or what do I do with my life because I cannot keep going like this. And then they fire me again. And I was like, thank the universe
Thank God, right?
Yeah, thank God. I felt so relieved. Like I went home and I was like crying and everything because obviously I didn't expect it. But I was like, thank you. Thank you for this because I was going to break down so bad. And it allowed me to heal and say, okay, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm not going back to work anymore. This is my chance to really work on myself, work on my business, and do something bigger than what I was doing before, just being kind of like a sales coach. I wanted to do something bigger, and it gave me the chance to do that.
So how do you, because I know you bring attention, you help women with visibility as well. And I know there's a lot of noise online. But how does a woman shift from the noise and the buzz to actually owning it and making it something? Because there's so many women trying to build and make sales online. How do you navigate that?
Well, normally we think visibility is like going viral and it's about the numbers, and that's not the visibility that I work with. It's more like authentic visibility in the sense that I don't want you to become just someone that contributes to the noise and contributes to just being louder. It's about, I want you to speak and be so confident in what you are saying that people actually listen to you. Like you can be in a room with hundreds of people, they are all talking, and you can be quiet in the room, but just you raise your hand and say the thing that everyone is thinking and nobody dares to say, and all of the sudden the room goes quiet because they are actually listening. So that's what I work through. And you only get to that point when you become a person that you are very confident in your truth and nothing can shake that. And so that's what I talk about, visibility. And when you lead with your story, like for example I'm doing now with mine, people want to listen to that. It's not the perfect curated Instagram feed, but they want to know that you, yeah, they want to know that you've gone through something and you came through the like to the other side. And when you lead with your truth, so many more people want to listen to that.
It's true. It's true. I've said this story many times. My podcast started because I felt I couldn't share my voice. And 2.5 years ago, on the day my mother was passing, because I was her carer, I said to my mum in the morning, Mama, I'm going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine. 4 hours later, she passed away. I started the podcast and I haven't turned back. And everyone has a story. And it's exactly what you said. Once you acknowledge your story like you have through the pain, and I'm glad that this is something a lot of women, and I'm sure there's men out there that do the same, right? I get it. But the fact that you acknowledged, and I have as well, through marriage breakdowns and relationship breakdowns, the fact that you've acknowledged that it's not just your work, because you're also grieving the job that you've lost and going through the pain and the reaction you have with your partner and your family, and acknowledging the fact that this was crap. This was not good. And just owning it and going, okay, right, what's going on? Where is the message? And my understanding is that you've taken the message and gone, okay, I need to change something and be louder in a way that resonates with women to go, it's okay to be your voice, damn it.
Yeah, no, of course. And especially for women, it's just we are meant to use our voice. Like if you believe in energetics and things like that, your power of creation is in your womb space. Your womb space is connected to your voice, to your throat, is the way you express your creativity, and you are meant to use it. It's in your nature. It's just there is so much conditioning that has told you that maybe it's not right. But it is there. And the moment you start doing it and you start saying no to this or yes to that, and you connect with that power, and no one can stop you.
No one can stop you. So I'm just curious, what do you do on a daily basis to keep you connected? Because we can easily fall backwards. I mean,
Yeah.
you talked about imposter syndrome, and I'm going to tell you, every level up that I do, or every change that I do, I sit there and go, and I'm like, Oh my God, imposter syndrome. And let me tell you, imposters, for women out there that are listening, it's real. We all get it. But you just got to go.
Yeah, one of the things is that after being fired and having a moment to sit, and I was talking with my mentor, and she was like, okay, forget about just sales. You are more than just a salesperson. What would you like to do if it wasn't about sales? And that's when I realized, okay, I've always seen people for who they are. I have a unique perspective about life. And I've always coached my friends, my family members through using their voice, expressing themselves. So I love that. And I've loved doing a lot of identity work. So it became something bigger. And I realized there is just so much that I can do on my own. And I need to touch more people. And I'm never going to do it just by posting on Instagram. So that's where the idea of podcast guesting started, like 2 months ago or something like that. And I've already done like 15 or I don't know, 17 podcasts. And whenever I have like a lower energy day, I'm like, there is someone out there, there is a woman out there that needs to hear my voice. They need to hear my message. They need to know that it's okay. And I'm never going to do it if I don't show up.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
And
I
whenever
feel
I
you.
have these conversations in podcasts and everything, when I finish the call, it's like I'm so fired up about it that is like, yeah, this is the job. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Don't you feel like once you get off a call, once you get off a podcast, once you get off talking to another person that has another perspective, and I've said this many, many times in my podcast is purely selfish. Selfish. I'm going to own it because yes, I'm the conduit. I'm the connector. However, because I learn from you, and if I'm learning from you, somebody else is learning from you. And if there's somebody out there that can learn from you, then I know my job's done and I'm going to go to the heavens above. God, tomorrow I could be dead. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
That your voice has been shared because, like you, there are women that are feeling or were feeling less than. So the question is, if there are women listening today and they're holding back, what is one truth she needs to hear today to reclaim her voice?
One truth. What if that truth could change someone's lives, could change your own life, and you're not saying it?
Goose pimpling. I just goose pimpled. True. Yes.
So I know sometimes it feels hard, but unless you go through it and you start doing it, it will never get easier. That's the truth.
Yeah. And I think it's true. And do you find that, I'm just talking from personal experience, that you have to change your delivery as well? Your delivery needs to change because obviously different personalities, whether it's your partner, whether it's your son, your daughter, your friends, your family, your delivery also needs to change for you to be able to get your voice across. Because sometimes in industries that are not kind to your heart, like you said, because they just didn't understand you and you weren't aligned. You said the key word before in the industry you were in, because I've got a friend that went through exactly the same thing and she was fired. She was fired 6 weeks ago. And she's like you, a strong person. Sales were amazing. Everything was off the chain, yet she was fired. And I'm like, how does that happen? Well, they weren't aligned with their vision. And we probably need to accept that. It hurt and she hurt a lot. And I'm like, you're going to be okay because this is now taking her to where she's meant to be. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing that you went through that stuff. Every pain you've gone through is a step to share your voice. I will say louder, not necessarily louder, but louder in the sense that not louder like this,
Mm-hmm.
louder like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
like that. Not louder, yes, because we're loud and hey, background, I'm going to be loud, not talking my hands, but
Yeah,
like
but
that.
like wider, like bigger
Wider.
impact. Yeah, taking up more
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you've called yourself the Expression Alchemist. And that's seductive sales strategist. Like, where did that come about? Because I'd love to talk about that for a sec. Because
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
When I was just working in my business, kind of like around sales, one of the things for me is that I don't know why women, they feel so icky when they sell. I don't know if I want to change that narrative. And so we don't keep repeating, oh, sales are icky, sales are uncomfortable for women. Because I kid you not, there is not a single man in this planet that feels that sales are icky. So,
So true.
so
So true.
I just have the feeling that this is just something that someone has said, and we are repeating over and over and over, and we are creating that limiting belief that sales are icky for women. And it's true that one of the things by being in corporate is that, I mean, I never hide myself, but working mainly with male clients, being attractive, you need to be at first like cautious so they don't confuse themselves, so to speak.
True.
And you
That's
need
another podcast.
Yeah, and then you need to hide those parts. And one of the things that happened to me that has never happened before is that when I lost my voice and I felt so insecure, I stopped feeling sexy. And I saw a big connection for women between being confident and being sexy. And there is also a connection between sales and relationships. And I thought, okay, let's change how women feel. Let's make it more fun, more spicy. You know how everyone used the word magnetic, but I was like, no, not magnetic, like seductive. I want to change how women feel when they sell, because honestly, a woman making like a shit ton of money for me is like freaking sexy.
I know, me too.
That's where the
You're talking
seductive
my language.
yeah, that's where the seductive sales came in. And I was like, yeah, let's make sales fun and sexy, and let's connect you to that part of you that you might also be hiding. Because being sexy and magnetic is in our nature, and so many women, they don't feel like that. So let's connect everything together. Be in your power, use your voice, feel like very confident in yourself and sexy, and let's go and change the world and make so much money that we create a different reality. So that's where everything came from.
I absolutely love that, because I've shared this story and I was sharing it with you a little earlier, was that I became that person. At 25, I was told I was too pretty. And you know what? That made me a beautiful looking woman, but I played like a man. And that was not good.
Yeah.
I played like a man till I think I was about 38, 40. I don't know. Look at me, I'm itching.
That
A long
was
time,
like a
like,
long time, yeah.
yeah, well, within reason. Within reason, it might have been diluted because I had a child in between, and all of a sudden the maternal instinct came in, and I became softer. However, when it was cutting deals, I'm like, okay, they need to not see this person. But why not? Is
Yeah.
what you're saying. Why not?
Yeah, because they make you think that it's not professional,
Yeah,
or that if you get a deal, it is because you had an unfair advantage from
so right.
another male colleague, for example.
Yeah, so
So
true.
obviously, it's always nicer to speak with people that have like a nicer appearance. That's just like how it works. Is like human psychology. But hiding yourself just because you look better than other person is insane. You were born like that. What can I say?
Well,
You should own it.
the thing is, it shouldn't, I know, but it shouldn't actually matter, is my point. It shouldn't matter what you look like. It
Yeah,
shouldn't matter if you're big, if you're skinny, if you've got 5 legs. It shouldn't matter. What should matter is how you are as a human being. And
of
any
course.
human being can be attractive, is what I'm saying. So we've got this perception that unfortunately I still think exists. The box that we are put in, that doesn't exist. And I'm so glad that you exist in the world, that are not my generation, that will keep on pushing and going, man, share your voice, be a good human, smile because you've got great teeth, and own it. You know what I mean? Like, Because a lot of women just hide, and then they hide until they shrink, and then they get all depressed, and then we become a shell of ourselves, and we're amazing human beings. We are here to make change and goodness in the world. But if we start to shrink, everything shrinks and the families break down, and then all crappy things happen in the world.
Yeah. And I have to say that another thing, because everyone has like a different perspective with this, and there's so much talk about like feminine energy and masculine energy. And when I came online, everything was about like, oh, soft girl era, not hustling, just you need to be paid for existing, just chill and everything will happen.
I'm like, where is that? Where does that really happen? Sorry, not sorry. Can you please share with me where it really happens?
I don't
Because
know, but there was
I don't think it does.
that narrative that I think it keeps many women out of her power, because if your energy is soft girl energy, fine. But I think so many women, they are strong, they are driven, they are action takers. They are not afraid of work, like quote unquote hustling for the dreams, in the sense that they know it takes work sometimes. And just because they are telling you that feminine energy should be soft, you are like not owning that side of you. And I
I
understand. I
so
understand
agree.
that if you hustle too much, you go into your masculine, you might burn out. But just because you are in your energy doesn't mean that you're weak or you don't have a strong opinions. And I think so many women, they are like in between those worlds, like trying to make peace one with the other. And it's like, no, you are like whatever. If you have strong opinions, you have strong opinions. That's it. So don't buy into the narrative of the soft girl era, airy fairy, fluffy. Maybe you are not fluffy. That's it. And
Maybe you're a bit of both. There
yeah,
is a place for everything.
of
There's
course.
sometimes fluff, and there's sometimes no fluff. And I think what you just said there, I think there's a space for everything. And I don't know whether, I don't know. I'm going to be crucified by saying this online, but which I really don't care because I've been crucified many, many times before. Today won't be the first time. Please show me where a woman sits there fluffy and just showing the pretty little image, whatever image it is. And I'm not talking about how we look, just that feminine thing. And we sit there and we're building a brand and making a shitload of money. I'm going to say, BS, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think it exists either, unless maybe you, I don't know, you have
I don't know.
family money, or I don't know.
Can you please share it with me so I can be in that space and just sit there and go, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I
Look,
don't.
I want that to look. I'm the girl that wears the rose-colored glasses. I'm not going to lie. I want the world to be like that. However, statistics states it's not. So that in closing, I'd like to ask you just one question. If you were to look in the 5-year-old version of yourself that's looking in the mirror right now and putting yourself back to where you were, what would you say to her, knowing everything that you've gone through and where you're at right now? What would you say to her?
Tell her that she's going to feel like a misfit for a lot of her school years and teenage years, but that she should wait until she gets like to womanhood, and she will like totally flourish, and she will find a strength that she didn't know she has.
Beautiful. I didn't even know you're a misfit. You've thrown me there.
Yeah,
You a misfit? Really?
I when I was a child, I was like lonely, kind of misfit. I was bullied because of my hair, because I didn't know I had curly hair. And yeah, I was kind of like a lonely girl.
And that's really sad.
They
It's
used
really
to bully
sad.
me because they said I was ugly, you know. So
You ugly.
yeah.
I was always told when I was younger, I was always called a shrimp because I was short. I'm tiny. And I'm like, I'm 5'2", which is tiny. And
I
they
think
used to
I'm
call
5
me,
foot two too, so like 160 meters.
Okay, well, I'm 3 centimeters shorter than you. That's because I don't know. My mum was 149 centimeters, and that woman was a powerhouse. So I'm like, I don't care what you say, but you know what? It starts to eat at you.
Yeah,
And then you
exactly.
get older, and then you're like, but I was okay.
Yeah.
The bigger, make mistakes. So, Bao, on that note, I am so glad that you are honoring the 5-year-old version of yourself that says, stand up, be tall, be loud, you're going to be damn okay.
I know. I know.
Thank you so much for joining me. You have oops, there goes my computer. An amazing morning and evening.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Bye for now.